I wasn't in the ad because of look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
48 Laws of Power.
Nah, man, that's whack. And he knew exactly what I meant because he'd been standing next to something his entire career.
Right.
He stood next to Biggie. You put hot on him. That's stand next to the fight if you want, right? He stood next to Mace. Stood next to Jock. Look, Puffy might be the destination for anybody going nowhere. Jay got all the motherfucking trophies, man. That's because he signed that contract.
What contract?
Look, no, if you don't sign, you don't give him a trophy, she ain't coming.
I asked 50 about that. I asked him to take him shopping.
He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say?
Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes.
Diddy's recent arrest is causing a devastating rippling effect across Hollywood and the music industry as 50 Cent weighs in on the whole brouhaha.
48 Laws of Power.
Nah, man, that's whack. And he knew exactly what I meant because he'd been standing next to something his entire career.
Right.
He stood next to Biggie. You put hot on him. That's stand next to the fight if you want, right? He stood next to Mace. Stood next to Jock. Look, Puffy might be the destination for anybody going nowhere.
The Candy Shop rapper appears to be having a field day as two of his industry enemies are in hot waters following disturbing revelations emanating from Diddy's arrest.
Look at that essay, the association to Beyonce, is when he started to receive the 16 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce.
Recent reports from the G Unit camp claim that the Inda Club rapper has linked Jay-Z to Diddy's current woes, and it's only a matter of time before the feds put Jay in their crosshairs.
I wasn't in the ad because of look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
So what has 50 Cent said, and how does it all link back to Jay-Z? We have all the info right here, so grab a popcorn and let's dive in. It's no secret that 50 Cent is at loggerheads with Jay-Z and Diddy. The three industry giants have enjoyed a love-hate relationship since 50 Cent burst onto the industry in 2003. Initially, 50 Cent auditioned for the Bad Boy label, but was rejected due to some pretty interesting reasons, which we'll come to later in the video. After Diddy rejected 50, he founded his G Unit label and started a rap revolution that took the whole music industry by storm. He released commercially and critically successful albums and headlined several shows across the world. 50's star rose, attracting ears and eyeballs across the states, and one of them was Jay-Z. The two men's relationship got off on a rocky start, but somehow found a way to make up only to break up for the second time. Now, we'll get into all these details later on in the video. But fans would remember that 50 Cent mocked Jay-Z when the feds first raided Diddy's house earlier this year.
Breaking news, the Department of Homeland Security has just confirmed to CNN that federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs.
Posting on Instagram on Wednesday, May 15th, 50 mocked Hov's public silence over the bad boy boss legal troubles, accusing him of strategically laying low. Alongside an unflattering close-up photo of the Rock Nation mogul, Fifth wrote, "Jay in hibernation, he ain't coming outside till this S with Puff blow over. No brunch, no lunch, no dinner. LOL, all you got him outside." Now, 50 was referring to Jay-Z canceling this year's Rock Nation brunch, which was organized every year before the Grammys. Of course, everybody knew 50 was trolling Jay-Z, but little did they know that 50 was dropping subtle hints about Jay-Z's involvement in Diddy's illicit affairs. This wasn't the first time 50 Cent had jabbed Jay-Z on social media over Diddy's S allegations. Back in March, the G Unit boss shared an image of a milk carton with Hov's face edited onto its missing children's ad slot. He wrote, "Anybody seen Jay? LOL. Puff said the man ain't answering his phone. LOL," he captioned the post, jokingly suggesting Jigga had gone ghost on his longtime friend in his time of need. Back in April this year, 50 once again mocked Jay-Z by posting a deepfake of a scene from the film New Jack City on Instagram. The G Unit general uploaded a subtly edited clip from the 1991 film and jokingly wrote, "This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. LOL New Jack Diddy." The said scene shows Wesley Snipes' gang leader character Nino Brown and Ice-T's character Detective Appleton, and shows the former pleading guilty to a lesser charge and being sentenced to a year of jail time, much to the anger of the cop who wishes he'd have offed Brown. The rapper deliberately fashioned the faces of Ice-T and Snipes to represent Jay-Z and Diddy respectively.
I think they still harbor some energy.
In the short clip, 50 seemingly implied that Jay-Z had some knowledge of Diddy's involvement in the essay and trafficking allegations and was probably a part of it. At the time, fans thought that it was all jokes and nothing serious, but with the benefit of hindsight, one can claim that the get-rich-or-die-trying rapper was dead serious. In 50's world, there's no way Jay-Z can deny knowledge of Diddy's freak-offs, and thus he appears to be an accomplice to Diddy's crimes. Mind you, both Diddy and Jay-Z are friends and have been seen a couple of times attending each other's events. This is why he reportedly believes Jay-Z is terrified. And considering all that we know about Diddy's ongoing case, it's difficult to not agree with 50's assertion. You see, the industry is full of evil elites who prey on innocent and vulnerable artists to reach the very top. Some allegedly resort to sacrificing humans to fuel their greed for money, power, fame, and all that comes with it. A few years ago, Kanye West gave fans a glimpse of what the elite does, but he was dismissed as crazy.
I ain't taking no slice from nobody. It's God. That's the only person that I serve. My mom ain't here. My mama was...
Many fans thought that Kanye had gone off the rails, and they lambasted him, giving several names. Even when he claimed that the industry sacrificed his mother to fuel its success, fans wouldn't believe him or give him a dog's chance. However, 50 Cent's recent revelations on the back of Diddy's arrest kind of lean into what Kanye West said a few years ago. Now, let's be clear here. Diddy hasn't officially been accused of eliminating anyone, but y'all know the backstory involving him: Notorious Big, Andre Harrell, and Kim Porter. In fact, rumors circulating in the grapevine suggest that the feds are putting together an airtight case that'll nail Diddy for his involvement in Notorious Big and Tupac's demise. But that'll be a story for another day. In the meantime, this is what Jaguar Wright had to say about Diddy and his issues with members of Uptown Records. Now, the reason I bring all this up is to paint a certain picture and give context to what I'm about to tell you next. You see, though players in the industry wouldn't openly admit that some elites are part of a cult that requires human sacrifice to fuel their successes, the rumor never goes away. For years now, speculations have been rife that Jay-Z had a hand in Aaliyah's demise so he could propagate the career of his wife, Beyoncé. Aaliyah was at the peak of her career, and she met her sudden demise after she had gone to shoot a music video in the Bahamas. Nicknamed the Princess of R&B, Aaliyah took the music scene by storm when she released her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. She was the hottest cake in town, and as expected, several men lined up to have a piece of her pie, including Jay-Z. According to Jay-Z's friend-turned-enemy, Dame Dash, Hov had a crush on Aaliyah, which almost spilled into obsession. He claimed that Jay-Z put his best foot forward to win Aaliyah's hand, but all his efforts went down the drain as the Princess of R&B was in love with someone else. He tried very hard, Dash told Page 6 of Jay's pursuit of Aaliyah. "I did not mean to fall in love with Aaliyah. She was just that cool," he said. "But you know we were both going hard. Everybody was trying to get to Aaliyah. It was not just Jay." Dash claimed that he initially didn't know that Jay-Z was vying for Aaliyah's hand. Moreover, he wasn't the only one. "I did not know Jay was trying to holler at her, but then it just happened like that. He was trying, I was trying, everybody was trying. He was going hard." The two men ended up beefing over Aaliyah, which eventually led to their separation as business partners. Dame Dash went on to enjoy his trophy, having won the competition over Aaliyah. "She was just cool as hell. We would laugh. We never stopped hanging, and that is what happened with her. There was never any obligation or any title. Just liking being around somebody for who they are. I was not in love with Aaliyah through the television. I fell in love with her from hanging out and meeting her. She looked different than Aaliyah on the TV screen." Now, some people claim that Jay-Z got brokenhearted and never forgave Aaliyah for it. According to them, the encore rapper schemed and plotted Aaliyah's demise right from the moment that he saw that Dame Dash had won the singer's heart. One of such people is Jaguar Wright.
Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way.
Jag thinks that Jay-Z sacrificed Aaliyah to make way for his wife Beyoncé, whose career was taking a nosedive at the time. She thinks there would have been no Beyoncé if Aaliyah was still around. Thus, Jay-Z had to take care of business so that Beyoncé's career would take off. Now, this might seem far-fetched, but if you consider Beyoncé's history, you might see the pattern that Jag was trying to draw. Now, stick with me as we go through these events and how they all link back to Diddy's arrest. At the time, Aaliyah was topping the charts and winning hearts. Beyoncé was sinking into depression. Her girl group, Destiny's Child, had just disbanded, with a few bright stars leaving the group. Everyone blamed her for the mishap and wanted nothing to do with her. It wasn't entirely her fault either, as her father, who doubled as the group's manager, made her the group's lead vocalist, singing almost all their songs.
Now, the group is breaking up. It's ended its run. Is that right?
Well, we've been together since we were 9 years old.
Oh,
so
my
now
God.
we're older and we each have our own individual dreams and goals.
The other girls got fed up with the biased treatment and left the group. Many fans and critics heavily blamed Beyoncé for the group's breakup, causing her to spiral into near depression. However, Jay-Z, her knight in shining armor, intervened, and according to Jag Wright, sacrificed Aaliyah so his then-girlfriend Beyoncé would climb to the top. Explaining how Jay-Z allegedly executed his devilish plan, Jag claimed that the Hard Knock Life rapper had someone mimic the voice of Dame Dash's PA. The person then called Aaliyah while she was in the Bahamas shooting a music video, claiming that Dame Dash was in critical condition at the hospital. Jay-Z then had someone tamper with the plane that would fly Aaliyah back to the U.S. The aircraft then crashed a few minutes after takeoff, eliminating Aaliyah in the process.
It's time for us to stop the truth. It is time for Aaliyah Dana Houghton's death to be properly investigated.
Now, here's how the whole thing perfectly dovetails into Diddy's arrest and why Jay-Z might be terrified. Suspicions are rife that Jay-Z and Diddy are staunch members of the Illuminati who control the entertainment industry. Conspiracy theorists believe that the two leading industry men started at the bottom and made a few sacrifices to get them to the pinnacle of success. Jay-Z's alleged sacrifice of Aaliyah was inspired by Diddy's sacrifice of Biggie Smalls, otherwise known as Notorious Big. Just like Aaliyah, Biggie Smalls was at the top of his game when his life was snuffed out of him. The gangster rapper went down during a drive-by shooting in the early hours of March 9, 1997, in Los Angeles, California. He was 24 years old. Before the event, Wallace promoted his second studio album, Life After Death, and attended an after-party in Los Angeles instead of traveling to London. This is where it all gets interesting. Biggie was scheduled to travel to London the morning before his demise, but the bad boy entourage somehow convinced him to ditch his plans to party with them. It was an after-party hosted by Vibe Magazine, Quest Records, and Tanqueray Gin at the Peterson Automotive Museum in the Cartier Circle neighborhood of Los Angeles. Little did Biggie know that this would be the last party he would ever attend, as he met his demise a few hours after leaving the party. At the time, fans pointed fingers at Suge Knight, the founder of Death Row Records, and archenemy of Bad Boy Records, for Biggie's demise. However, when the details of Biggie's deal with Bad Boy Records were made public, fans started to suspect that Diddy had a hand in it. The details of the deal indicated that almost every proceeds from Biggie's record sales went into Diddy and Bad Boy's pockets. In fact, people are of the opinion that Biggie Smalls' passing served as the foundation for what Bad Boy Records is today. He was the best rapper on the label, with his songs raking in millions of dollars.
Such a charismatic, charming, incredible storyteller, likable guy. He's forever loved by hip-hop.
Biggie's legacy and demise played a crucial role in elevating the stock of Bad Boy and P. Diddy, which is eerily similar to the way Aaliyah's passing skyrocketed Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Though this sounds like a coincidence, it is difficult to dismiss it completely because of what we now know about Diddy and his cohorts, which I'll come to in a jiffy. Now here's where it all gets darker. According to 50 Cent's alleged revelations, Jay-Z and Diddy have had inappropriate relationships with minors in the past. Y'all remember the rumor that flew around some years ago that Beyoncé was underage when she started dating Jay-Z? Though the couple haven't commented on the matter, conspiracy theorists are adamant that their position is true. Now consider this, Jay-Z is 11 years older than Beyoncé, and according to the Single Ladies crooner, the two met in 1999 when Beyoncé was only 18 years old. However, Jay-Z had a different narration. In 2007, he was asked when he met Beyoncé, and the rapper answered that he met her 10 years ago, which places their initial meeting date in 1997. If you do the math, you'll discover that Beyoncé was 16 years old at the time she met Jay-Z. Now, many fans are inclined to go with Jay-Z's narration because of women's penchant to hide their ages. So, fans believe that Beyoncé is telling the truth, and if Jay-Z's account of events is true, then you know where I'm headed with this story. So you see why 50 Cent would allegedly claim that Jay-Z is terrified following Diddy's arrest.
I wasn't in the ad because of look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together. Mm-hmm. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
Of course, 50 Cent has his issues with Diddy and appears to be happy that the Bad Boy Records founder is in jail. The two rap icons have been at each other's throats for the better part of 2 decades. Though none of them have openly spoken about the beef, close associates of the pair claim that the beef started when Diddy refused to sign 50 to his Bad Boy record label. Tony Yayo, a member of the G-Unit squad, claims that 50 didn't take Diddy's rejection lightly and tried to prove a point.
We went to Diddy, we went to for Bad Boy. A lot of people don't know that. We had the meeting, and it was so crazy that Diddy didn't sign him. I know that was one of the biggest mistakes of Bad Boy.
Mm-hmm. The reason why Diddy refused to sign 50 Cent isn't clear, but some pundits claim it all boiled down to 50 Cent's first track, which he released in 1999. The track, titled The Bomb, dissed the rap heavyweights at the time, including Diddy and Jay-Z. In fact, 50 insinuated that Diddy had prior knowledge of Big Small's shooting and perhaps had a hand in it. So it makes sense why Diddy didn't want to sign him to his label, and since then 50 has never forgiven Diddy. The two leading hip-hop icons have had a few back and forths, trading a few diss songs, but nothing violent. 50's beef with Jay-Z also stems from the same track, where the Indie Club rapper referenced Jay in one of his bars. Aside from that, the two men have been jostling over the title of King of New York, so it's understandable why they would compete. However, there appears to be a darker and sinister agenda behind this whole beef that 50 himself might not be aware of. According to industry insiders like Ice Cube and Bill Maher, some members of the elite have carefully crafted a plan that drives many of the rappers to prisons. He explained that the owners of the top music labels in the country also own the prisons. Thus, it looked like there was a deliberate attempt to lure musicians into prisons to double or triple their profits.
Okay, let's take rap music.
Let's take it.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons.
Now, with Diddy set to go to prison if he's convicted, Bill Maher's submission seems to make a lot of sense. It explains why most of these hip-hop tunes have lots of violence, SA, guns, and medications in them. The songs and lyrics appear to promote a violent lifestyle that would only lead to prison, which would make money for the elites. First, they make money when the songs become commercially successful. And when the rappers live out their violent dreams, the elites are there to reap their profits. For many fans, this perfectly explains what is happening to Diddy right now. A few days ago, Diddy was arrested on several charges including SAST and racketeering amongst a host of other charges.
Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul.
Diddy's songs aren't particularly violent, but if you listen to some of the songs he's produced under his label, you'll find many that promote lawlessness. Thus, it's not surprising to anyone that the rap mogul has been slapped with heavy charges that could see him spend the rest of his life in prison. It all began when Diddy was first sued by his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, for SA and other crimes committed against her. She claimed that Diddy placed his hand on her neck on several occasions and plied her with drugs against her will. The former Bad Boy singer claimed that Diddy would invite strange men and force her to sleep with all of them while he filmed. Initially, the rapper denied all the allegations, accusing Cassie of wanting a quick payout. However, Diddy's former bodyguard thought that Diddy was just playing smart and that he was guilty of harming Cassie.
He's capable of doing what Cassie said he did. Cassie said you understand, against her will.
Interestingly, less than 24 hours after Cassie had filed the lawsuit, Diddy and his lawyers made a swift turnaround and settled out of court. Though the exact figure wasn't mentioned, many believe it was in the millions. Cassie's lawsuit opened the floodgates for various lawsuits from other alleged victims of Diddy. About 5 different women came up with several allegations against the Bad Boy founder, ranging from SA to forcing himself on them. These women's allegations piqued the interest of the feds who raided Diddy's homes in New York and LA early this year. The feds seized several equipments including electronics, surveillance cameras, laptops, and flash drives. The rapper himself wasn't arrested, but his 2 sons were briefly handcuffed and later allowed to go scot-free. The feds then opened an investigation into Diddy, inviting over 50 victims and witnesses to share their experience with the rap mogul. This led to the final raid of his home and his eventual arrest. Sordid details emerging from the arrest indicate that the Diddy had rooms dedicated to sleeping with women and men.
They arranged for victims and commercial workers to...
One of the officers who took part in the raid claimed that these rooms had cameras around that recorded every activity, which Diddy later used to blackmail his targets. So if you were in those S parties, you were being recorded from every possible angle, including angles you wouldn't have known about, the source said, referring to the sometimes days-long parties he called freak-offs, where drugged-up victims were allegedly forced to sleep with male streetwalkers. Internally, officers said they see a lot of similarities between Combs and Epstein, the well-connected financier who served time for trafficking dozens of young girls in New York and Florida. Epstein, who was awaiting trial on additional charges, died in his jail cell in August 2019. According to one officer, they had overwhelming evidence that Diddy held some of these women against their will. "We have evidence that these women didn't feel like they were free to go," the DHS officer said, and there's video evidence that some of the girls are clearly out of it while these men are having S with them. According to the charge sheet, Diddy's employees allegedly helped facilitate the 6 sessions by arranging travel, booking hotel rooms where they would take place, and stocking the rooms with supplies, including medication, baby oil, lubricants, and extra linen. Diddy's woes have just begun, and it remains to be seen whether he would join the likes of R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein in jail, or he would get a lawyer to save him. Meanwhile, Jay-Z is allegedly terrified, at least according to 50 Cent, who suspects that the rap mogul is complicit in Diddy's actions. For now, we keep our fingers crossed and see what happens to Jay-Z in the new future. And that will be all for today. Thanks for watching.